General Sanyatwe has responded to the Zimbabwean people and also to Tavan Mpofu advocate who wrote a letter to him demanding that he must withdraw the words he spoke and also to apologize to the nation of Zimbabwe. And it seems like the man is remaining so adamant. The man remains so arrogant, and he has only responded. Someone here saying the general has indeed responded to Advocate Falkram's demands. He said, "Go hang." He meant his word when he said his words. So this is what he's saying. So the response of this man who remains adamant and who is taking Zimbabweans for granted is he refuses to apologize to the Zimbabwean people for what he has said or withdraw the statements that are very unfortunate and dangerous that he has uttered. So we want to continue to look at how Zimbabwean people are going to continue to respond. But generally, Zimbabwean people are angry. Zimbabwean people are really, really bitter about the way the man has spoken. And quite a lot of people have responded and continue to respond to him about the things that he has said. Very irresponsible for a man who is supposed to be holding such a position in the military. And this has been a culture of ZANU-PF, of course. We've seen ZANU-PF continuously threatening Zimbabwean people. Whenever ZANU-PF is cornered, they want to come out guns blazing on Zimbabwean citizens. And it has happened for many, many times. And most of those that have done that have just found themselves going scot-free. But this time around, we as the Zimbabwean people are demanding and standing, and we are saying Sanyatwe is not going to get away with it. What he has said to Zimbabwe, what he has mentioned about ZANU-PF is not going to happen anyway. But still, the disrespect that he has for the Zimbabwean people and the Zimbabwean voters is what we are standing against. And we are not going to keep quiet. We are not going to let this story die. We will continue to speak against it. We will continue to lobby many people, many Zimbabweans, many pressure groups to stand against this. And where we want to make this communication go as far as it can go. The whole world must know of what General Sanyatwe has said about Zimbabwe, so that when we are fighting for our rights and pushing ZANU-PF and Emerson Mnangagwa out, the whole world will get to understand why Zimbabwean people have to be reacting, speaking, and acting in the manner that we do. Because we have a rogue government, we have an illegal government, we have a government that does not have the mandate of the people of Zimbabwe to run. And this is why they disrespect Zimbabweans to the point of speaking in the manner that the man has spoken. We have not had any general or any army official ever speaking like that in many other countries, including our own neighboring countries in SADC. We have never had a South African soldier speaking like that, or a Botswana soldier or Zambian soldier speaking the way or the manner in which we hear these Zimbabwean soldiers speaking. So this remains a problem. It remains a challenge in our country, where our military does not know where they must start and end. The military must not be overbounding, finding themselves, crossing boundaries and entering into places where they are not supposed to be. And that is a war that we will continue to fight. And like we have been always saying, especially these others that always want to speak about war and identifying themselves with war, these are the most arrogant ones that we continue to experience in our country. And we need to continue to stand against them. And after all, when we look at the current situation right now, there are not many of them that are still left out there. And that rhetoric which they have continued to run with, we must stand against it as Zimbabwean people. We must quash that rhetoric and make sure that we take active steps and measures to make sure that any would-be offenders will never find themselves again in the situation of Sanyatwe. The situation of Sanyatwe remains a very critical situation in Zimbabwe. It's a security threat, actually, to the nation of Zimbabwe. If he knew what he is doing, he should desist from speaking in the manner that he did. And our people are really unhappy, and they are really condemning the words that he has spoken. And we will continue to stand up and condemn him. We are telling him, Sanyatwe, you have no right to speak to us as Zimbabwean people like that. You have no mandate whatsoever to stand before the Zimbabwean people and speak in the manner that you do. Whatever you think in your own skull, it's your business. Whoever you think you are, whatever position that you want to give yourself, or maybe privileges that you think you enjoy, that is up to you. That is up to your mind. But we as the Zimbabwean people, we are totally and totally against it. We are never going to support anyone who wants to speak against the democratic rights, especially the rights of choosing leaders of our choice as Zimbabwean people. So that is unfortunate. And that statement that he has said is actually a statement that we deny. We are not going to take it. We are not going to receive it. We are throwing it back to sender, back to you. We are not going to resonate with it. We are not going to associate ourselves with that statement. That's a very uncouth and inhuman and unfortunate statement that he has said. And if he thinks he will get away with it, like most of the others, Vanash Navashe, who also came out and said the same words, and they got away with it. This time around, Sanyatwe is lying to himself, because ZANU-PF is not going to be longer in power like he thinks, because this is the last days of ZANU-PF, and very, very soon we are going to be reaching out. The long arm of the law shall be reaching out to people like Sanyatwe for the treasonous statements that he has spoken. That's treason on its own. And we are making sure that one of these fine days, people like Sanyatwe are going to be brought before a just court, and they shall answer for what they've done, including the issue of the shooting of the Zimbabwean civilians that he shot and died in the streets in Zimbabwe. And that is an issue that is still pending, and Zimbabwean people still remember it very, very vividly. It's still a fresh memory in the minds of the Zimbabwean people. So this is what we are saying. We are saying to the whole world, we are saying to SADC, we are saying to African Union, we have a man who has indicated to you all without mincing of words who ZANU-PF is, and what role the soldiers, the military, and the security forces in Zimbabwe are playing in terms of forcing or maybe enabling the dictatorship of ZANU-PF in our country, and abusing the rights of Zimbabwean people, and killing Zimbabwean people, and the rest of all the atrocities that they've done. So this is it. Mnangagwa is totally exposed, because everyone now knows what they do during elections, because the man has said it himself, and no one has come up to deny what he has asserted, which means they are actually in agreement with what he has said. They know that this is what the practices that they are doing during the time of election. So there it is. We still continue to condemn Sanyatwe, and he must never tell us to go and hang. He himself must go and hang. He himself must go to the pit of hell. We are not going to be hoodwinked. We are not going to be victimized. We are not going to be threatened as Zimbabwean people. We are standing our ground, defending the rights of the Zimbabwean people, defending freedom for the Zimbabwean people, and standing up to make sure that we remove that rogue government and those rogue soldiers and rogue judges and rogue police officers who are following up and acting in a partisan manner. Zimbabwe needs freedom. Zimbabwe needs new leaders. And that's why we are pushing for a change in Zimbabwe. We need a new government of new politics and a new people that understand the plight of the Zimbabwean people. So this is what is happening, family. The man remains arrogant, but we are also adamant. We are not moving. We continue to demand, and we continue to push for fresh elections, for a fair election, for a new government, a government of the people, by the people, for the people in Zimbabwe. Subscribe to this channel if you have not yet done so. Like and share. We are continuously giving you updates. We will meet in the next show. Thank you so much for joining me.